Welcome back. President Biden announcing plans to cut his G7 trip short as debt ceiling negotiations are showing movement following another meeting with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy yesterday. Here's what Joe Biden had to say about those talks. Watch.
There was an overwhelming consensus, I think, in today's meeting, the congressional leaders, that defaulting on the debt is simply not an option. Our economy would fall into recession. It would devastate retirement accounts, increase borrowing costs, and according to Moody's, nearly 8 million Americans would lose their jobs and our international reputation would be damaged in the extreme if we were to let that happen. The country we've never defaulted on our debt, and we never will.
Joining me right now with more on these talks is the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker McCarthy, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Maria. Thanks for having me back on your show.
Can you give us an update on where these talks stand? I know that you have said that the scope has changed and perhaps the staffs are coming up with some common ground. Is that common ground more than just rescinding the COVID-19 unspent money?
Well, Maria, we have to go back to how did we finally get to this place? You know, 104 days ago, I sat with the president and said, let's sit down and let's negotiate. Let's be reasonable, let's be sensible, and let's be responsible about the future, because if our debt gets too large, which it is today, it's 120% of our GDP. It is larger than our economy. In the next 10 years, we'll pay more in interest than we paid in the last 83 years. So this is a serious time, and I want to negotiate. But for 104 days, he would not negotiate, say you just have to raise the debt ceiling, and it was going to put our economy in jeopardy by doing that. Then Republicans passed a bill, a limit, save, grow. Unfortunately, the Senate has taken no action, so we couldn't go to conference. But finally, yesterday, the president finally admitted he would negotiate. He would assign 2 people from his administration to negotiate with us. We started last night. So if we finally have a process, a structure that has worked every time in the past, but now we have a short time frame to get the job done in. So I'm optimistic that now we have a structure that can work. The time frame is what's difficult, but what we really have to do is we've got to spend less than we spent before to curb inflation. We've got to become less dependent on China, make our supply chain better, get more people into the workforce. That's where work requirements moves people out of poverty. We've got to be able to build things in America again. That's where we're going to cut red tape, let projects actually, and permitting process actually work. And there's a lot of places where we need to save money, like COVID money that you appropriated for 2 years and nobody spent.
Right.
That's common sense. Why do we have to fight over that to bring that back to the hardworking taxpayer? That's what's crazy.
But that's not going to move the needle in terms of what you're trying to do, right? That's one item. Are there more items? In other words, do you see common ground on this energy permitting reform, whether it's fossil fuel and green? Do you see common ground on actual caps on future discretionary spending growth? Do you have a sense of that yet?
There has to be caps. Otherwise, we're just growing out of control. Look, we had just started negotiations last night. I now am optimistic because we have a structure that works. Talk to me in a few days to see I'm optimistic about how the negotiations are going.
Well, let me get your take on what the Wall Street Journal is reporting right now, because in an exclusive, the Journal says that the Democrats are about to launch the discharge petition, aiming to force a debt ceiling vote, and that is a clean debt ceiling vote. You've got the House Budget Committee Democrat Brendan Boyle saying we have only 2 weeks to go until we may hit the X date. We must raise the debt ceiling now and avoid economic catastrophe. No more negotiations.
You know what? That's going nowhere, and that really shows that the Democrats aren't serious about doing something. A clean debt ceiling will not pass. The president's admitted it. Schumer has admitted it. That's really trying to give the Democrats something to save face on, but that will never see the light of day.
So you don't think Democrats planning to start collecting signatures this morning for this discharge petition is going anywhere?
No, it's not going to go anywhere. You have to get 218 votes. Look, Republicans sat together. We wanted to work with Democrats. Democrats did not want to work about it, so we passed our own bill that would limit, save, grow. Limit the amount we can continue to spend in the future. Just let government grow at 1%. Put work requirements in, only for able-bodied people with no dependents. This is something that President Biden voted for as a senator, that President Bill Clinton signed into law. We look at permitting reform to grow our economy. We're looking at areas to the REINS Act to let not the president just go unilaterally working, but have to work with government, Congress and Senate as well. These are all common sense ideas. We're talking about spending where we spent 5 months ago. It's not draconian in any shape or form. These are all common sense ideas, and we passed that bill. The Senate hasn't. The president has no idea. So now we're finally into negotiations after 104 days. And the one thing you know about me, Maria, I never give up.
Right, that's right.
We have the perseverance and the grit. So we're going to sit in the room and we're going to get this done. But we're going to make this economy stronger. We're going to put us on a better path. But this won't solve all of our economic problems. We got to be serious about doing this. Remember, when the debt was only at $14 trillion, the chairman of Joint Chiefs says the greatest threat to America was our debt. Now we're over $32 trillion.
Unbelievable.
When is it too much?
Yeah.
When is it too much that we're going to continue to borrow from China to pay people not to work?
Yeah, I understand.
To spend more that we bring in.
But
We've got to stop that behavior.
You've said a couple of times that the Inflation Reduction Act is loaded with too much spending, and the president has said over and over again he's not touching the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, you said a while ago that one of your priorities would be to rescind that money to the IRS. Our viewers want to know, are they going to get audited? Are these people going to get on them, these 30,000 people that the president wants to hire? He wanted 87,000 IRS agents. Are you going to be able to rescind that?
So that's a great question. We already passed the bill to rescind it, but we also put it in this in our debt ceiling bill as well, our limit, save, grow. Because listen, 87,000 IRS agents is more than double where the IRS agent is today, the number. The government shouldn't be there to go after you. Should they be there to help you?
Yeah.
So we're looking at ways that we can cut that, save the American money. And the real question here is, Maria, if you look at the 50-year average, the amount of money that we bring into government, normally we bring in about 17% of GDP. We're bringing in 20%. Only 2 times in modern history have we ever met this, in 1944 and 2000. The real question is what we're spending. On a 50-year average, we normally spend 21% of GDP. We're now at 23.6 on our way to 25. It's not a revenue problem, it's a spending problem. Right. So why is your plan to hire more IRS agents to look at every American that spends more than $600 and go after them? So the IRS should be there to help you fill out the tax reform, and the tax reform should be so easy that you don't need an expert to fill it out.
Yeah.
And we should actually have an economy that's growing, not dependent upon China, and that's what our legislation actually does, and that's what we're working towards.
So you think you're going to have some kind of an agreement within the next couple of days? You said to me a minute ago, talk to me in a few days. You think we'll have this resolved in a few days?
Well, the way I look at it, it still has to pass the House and the Senate. That's going to take a number of days. And that's why the House Republicans acted back in April. That was long before Janet Yellen even told us the deadline was June 1st. Yeah. We didn't want to be in this crunch time. But we're going to do everything we can to get this done. But finally, after 104 days of saying they would not even negotiate this president, I don't want to have a Biden default. I want to make sure America is strong. That's why we raised the debt limit. We passed the bill, and now we're finally in the room where we can negotiate. Yeah,
congratulations on the success you've had. Real quick, I want to get to 2 other topics. I know you've been thinking about ChatGPT a lot, but we're also thinking about the corruption underway. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan formally requesting Special Counsel John Durham to appear before Congress to discuss the Durham report. So far, the White House is refusing to comment on that as well. You lived it. You know what went on in terms of the Durham probe and the Russia collusion lie. Will there be accountability here?
There has to be. And Maria, it's not just me who knew. You knew it. And you got criticized for speaking the truth. And that's what's wrong. Is CNN talking about this? Is the White House talking about this?
No.
Listen to what has happened. They took America through an impeachment over a lie that they knew. Yeah. You had Adam Schiff, who was chairman of the Intel Committee, lying day after day to the American public that he had proof, that he knew the proof. Now we're finding in the Durham report his own staffer threatened witnesses. I mean, why is this individual still even in Congress, and why does he think he can even run for higher office after what he did? When you look at Hillary Clinton, She created this.
Yeah.
The FBI paid people and knew it was false. This is why we created the Weaponization Committee when I became Speaker.
Yeah.
This is what we knew about. Now we have even more proof about it. Now it's time that people have consequences for their actions, and you've got to clean this up where this can never happen again.
Yeah.
When you talk about the threat to democracy, this is exactly what we're talking about.
And
they
it divided
threatened the
country.
democracy of the American public.
And
Yes.
it divided the country so much, it's unbelievable that finally we get the Durham report and the mainstream media is blowing it off as if it's no big deal. The media also...
Maria, you got attacked for speaking the truth, for even just bringing people up to let them have their own say. That is an attack on democracy.
Yeah.
That they would use every lever to try to silence information coming through the airwaves. That is wrong in America, especially when we have a First Amendment right. And now we have proof that government utilized themselves for political purposes to try to control who was running this country and going against the American people's vote.
It's actually stunning. Okay, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testifying yesterday, telling the Senate Judiciary Subcommittee that artificial intelligence can go wrong if it is not properly regulated. He also expressed concerns ahead of the 2024 election with regard to AI. Watch this.
It's one of my areas of greatest concern, the more general ability of these models to manipulate, to persuade, to provide sort of one-on-one, interactive disinformation. Given that we're going to face an election next year and these models are getting better, I think this is a significant area of concern.
So I was particularly stunned that he mentions the election in 2024 with regard to AI. How do you see this? What are you thinking about AI right now?
Look, I've been focused on AI for quite a few years. I took a number of members long before we were in the majority to MIT to actually study this. I brought MIT in, I brought Sam Altman in as well. And I do it not just on a Republican basis, I bring the entire Congress together. Because AI could do some wonderful thing. Help us cure cancer, help us cure diseases, help us think faster. It could also change jobs, but create new jobs. But it also has a damaging side as too. We can't ignore AI. We can't allow China to capture it and America not. But we have to capture it for the good thing. So I want us to look at it in that nature. So the idea is to bring more minds in, elevate everybody in Congress with the knowledge and potential of AI, but also certain downfalls. So how do we create a system that lets it grow, but actually take the harm out of it? Because every day AI gets smarter, every day AI gets more efficient, but it could be used for smart things. But we've watched that in social media, the positive things that social media starts, but also the damaging things it could do as well.
Yeah.
We have to have an open mind here, but create a structure that allows it to grow, but protect us and our privacy at the same time.
Yeah, and China is thinking the same. They want to be number one in that area as well.
AI and quantum, it's very important, whichever country actually is able to capture it first. And we know what China will do with those two items. They don't want to capture this to actually benefit items. They want to do it to benefit their own country and go after others. We don't want to allow that to happen.
It's a great point. Speaker McCarthy, it's good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for everything you're doing, Maria.